because I think he went half on turn there, where he's also
Yeah.
probably got some smaller bets and some pot or over bet type stuff.
Yeah, that will definitely. What do you think? What do you think about that? About like adding a lot of complexity for maybe a sort of tiny amount of EV or debatably tiny amount of EV.
I think it's one of those things where like if you can make it work, it's awesome. Takes some time maybe to kind of get your footing with it
Nope,
because
all in. 10 on the flop, no spade, no queen. Backing up motherfucking truck, baby.
yeah, that's a stack.
The worst card in the deck for Doug, I would say. Right? Like it has to be because all the boats just got there. And then if Negreanu did have ace 10, he just has a lot more equity versus a straight.
Yeah, it's probably not the best card for that. I don't know about the worst. It's interesting because like obviously Daniel has like the really small flop size and the big one. So when he chooses the big one and he continues against the raise, and then the top card pairs, like it does seem like that's kind of pretty bad news
For
for
Doug.
Doug's range.
Sure. Looks like Negreanu tripled on the right. Triple betting and just betting the turn there does signify like for sure better than one pair hand. And then we have a 3-bet small bet on monotone board. So don't know too much about sort of where Negreanu's range is at on this one yet. This hand gets a lot more interesting on the turn. Where he's sort of
the 7-3 deuce you're talking about?
Sorry?
You're talking about the 7-3 deuce board?
7-3 deuce. So now that he's bet, he's generally going to be sort of like on the more polar side. Not the best card for Doug. Like, yeah, maybe some ace-4 combos, but none of his clubs improved, and maybe he had 2 clubs that are set to begin with. But yeah, now that's actually a couple 4s for Doug, couple like 6s, 7-6 type stuff for Doug. Negreanu's not thrilled with a lot of his 1 pairs, but can certainly have a number of flushes. All in. Wow. Whoa. Oh, wow. Wow. Doug got very, very unlucky. So Doug had turned the nut straight. And then Negreanu really had 2 outs.
Yeah, it's basically a 2-outer. Although
he could have won. No, just
if a club came,
it would 6 of clubs.
Presumably he had one of the better hands to follow through with.
Sure. Yeah. I meant to stack it, but yeah, sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking to just win the pot, but yeah, the stack, that was the 2-outer.
Oh, sorry. Don't refret. Do Alt F4. That'll get you the new cards. Doug over. That's the 150. Yeah, that makes sense. The queen 9, queen 9 2. 2 is a complete brick. You can really attack.
Yeah, I think anytime you have like the kind of top pair over pair advantage on the turn, like doesn't complete the straight and brings a flush draw, or is just a brick and there was a flush draw on the flop or whatever, the imposition uses a lot of overbets.
This looks like, I'm gonna guess, a pretty good board for Doug. I think just like a lot of Negreanu's unpaired hands are still unpaired, and that's not where you want to be. So I'm gonna expect a very small bet out of Doug here quite often. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think it's a range bet necessarily.
Is it? I imagine you're still betting more than half your hands.
Yeah, I would say so.
Turn 6, 10 nines is there. Negreanu's just all in.
He is all in.
He's got a pair or a draw. Doug's got nothing or something. And looks like Doug's got a little something because Doug is in the tank here. Or he's just really balancing out his full timing. Oh, Doug got him good. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Doug
that makes
really
a lot of sense.
From Doug?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I
mean, yeah, he roasts queen 10, but like there's very few heart combos, and Negreanu has, I don't know, 9-8 or 9-7, whatever. Like Doug is completely cooked. Not completely because ace 5, but not amazing.
It almost feels like maybe you prefer the 5 to the 9 because you're hoping that Negreanu has Jack 9, Queen 9, King 9 suited sort of hand.
Yeah.
Because like SPR is so low, he doesn't need hearts to rip with a draw like that.
What would you do with 10-8 on that river if you were Doug?
So that kind of feels like one of the good ones to 10%, right? Because like you block a lot of the calling hands, and your opponent's range is either going to be like a flush or a hand like you had, like a relatively, for the situation based on how the board ran out, weak 1 pair hand.
Right. Yeah. It does become, it turns like a sort of uninteresting, very sort of handcuff spot into like a spot with like a bit of intrigue.
Yeah.
Negreanu will for sure have some hands worse than an ace. So what does he do? All right, here Negreanu 3-bets, Jack 10-8, a lot going on this board. Checks over to Doug. Doug goes for a very small size. Call, nothing happens on the turn.
There is a lot going on this board. That's true.
And now, I mean, we're likely going to see, 10K or check out of Doug. We'll see. I don't know. Negreanu in a tank. Maybe this is a lead. No. He checks sort of as expected. Yep. Bombs away from Doug. And this is this is like another pure like Doug has it or he doesn't, and Negreanu's got nothing or like a little something. Probably.
Yeah.
Negreanu calls king on the river.
Pretty interesting card.
Don't know if Negreanu ever has kings. Guess he could. Kings and king jacks get there. Kings and king jack got there.
King, I feel like should just be check raising all in turn a lot.
Well, we're gonna find out. He checks ace queen from Negreanu. Now he probably just folds the turn unless he has diamonds. So probably not going to slow down Doug's value bets. I don't know if he doesn't really love the king. He doesn't ever make anything other than a ace queen very occasionally. No, we're all in. Oh, whoa!
That's spicy.
That is what you call a bad beat.
Yeah.
So it calls 80%.
A little bit less. It's going down a bit. It's like probably gonna end up being 75-25. So it's almost done.
Damn, that is fucking crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of it's kind of interesting hand. Yeah, I mean these 3-bet pots with like the low SPR and the coordinated boards, I would say are probably
how often does it check flop?
For Doug?
For Daniel.
Oh, sorry. 54%. It just goes all in like 11.5% of the time. But this is also a function of like the ranges I have are different than his.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing is that like here. Let me ask you this question. So the way that basically everybody does it is they have their range for one side of the spot. Like they have their 3-bet range, and then they have their call 3-bet range. And when they run sims, they run their range versus their range, right?
Yeah.
Normal, but that's not your opponent. Oh, we got a spot here. All right, so 10-8-7 flush draw, 3-bet pot. Negreanu goes for the check raise, induces Doug's small bet, raises it up. Turn 3, bring in spades.
This is pretty similar to the last one. It's actually just like one rank lower on every card. No. Okay, it's a little bit different, but
close-ish. Doug gets king 10. Negreanu has aces. Aces are good. King 10 is not, unfortunately.
Yeah, it feels like without the diamond or the spade with the kicker, it's probably pretty tough to fold there.
Yeah, I don't think you can. Yeah, I just don't think you can do anything there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a fine line, like playing heads up and like making those like high variance, but also like high EV plays if done well. And if you just do it too much, you're just you're done so.
Sure. By the way, Jimmy, I don't know if you have to be on this Discord. I have I have some GTO that having more people on Discord call possibly hurts the quality. I don't know if it's necessary that you are on the call, but I figured I'd just put that out there. We have no choice. Yeah, of course. Have you gotten must? Oh, we got a pot. What's going on? This is just 3-bet. All right, 3-bet C-bet 954, which we've talked about. Board where you just sort of bomb the flop and then just sort of like, if you don't have it, just decide how much you really want to go for on the turn. Negreanu still wants to go for it. That's really small. What do you think about that turn bet?
I can see it. I think there's definitely some non-all-in betting, that's for sure. I don't know about if you want to go that small necessarily, but I could see it.
River Queen, very bad river for Doug. Don't really matter to him having too many queens. Oh, not really going to matter. Daniel has aces. Doug has top pair. Aces are good.